Hey friends, it is Jenna, what is up, and welcome back to the Board Game Garden. Welcome back to the little cozy corner that I have here. Basically this setup here is going to be for just like chill, kind of like chatty videos, and today you guys can tell by the title that we are going to be doing board games based off of your zodiac sign, which shout out to Kavre. I will have their channel linked down below. They did something similar to this. It was a little bit different where they actually together. It was more of like a challenge for them to do together where they kind of thought of board games based off of the zodiac's like thing for that day. So like their daily horoscope. But I am more so, I actually did probably the most like research I've ever done for a video for this video, which I don't know why I put so much effort into this because I don't even know if this video is going to get many views because I know some people don't love the whole zodiac sign thing, but I did so much research on just like how zodiacs are, different words that are associated with all the zodiac signs, and I tried to think my hardest about what board games would be best for those specific zodiac signs. So I am going to be going through all 12 zodiac signs today. I will have all of the like chapters down below, so if you want to just go straight to your zodiac sign, you are welcome to, but they're just recommendations based off of your zodiac sign and the kind of general thing that is associated with that zodiac sign. So I do know zodiac signs, some people are like, those are stupid, like they could literally be anybody, blah, blah, blah. I understand, and I just think zodiac signs are fun. This is going to be a fun video where I just recommend two board games to you for your zodiac sign. Even if you don't believe in it, you're welcome to watch. If not, don't watch. But yeah, it's just a chill, lighthearted video. So if you're wanting to hear the two board games that I recommend for your zodiac sign, just keep on watching. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoy. Also hit that subscribe button if you want to join the garden. We'd love to have you here. And then also, please comment down below. Tell me what your zodiac sign is, and if the two recommendations that I gave are games that you actually enjoy, I think it'd be really cool to hear. Or if they're like games that you actually hate, I think it'd be funny to hear that as well. And then also, if you have not tried these games that I've recommended, if they sound like games that you think you would enjoy. So yes, I'm so excited to see all the comments for this video. But without further ado, let's get into this board game video, shall we? So starting off with the first zodiac sign, that is going to be Aquarius. So Aquarius is actually my moon sign. So that is, if you guys do not know, typically if you get like a birth chart, which you just have to put in where you were born, what day, and the exact time, it'll actually show a birth chart of where everything was at that exact moment, and then that actually can give you your sun sign, which is usually what everyone knows themselves as. So I am a Sagittarius, boom baby, shout out to all the Sagittariuses out there. And then my moon sign, which moon signs are your inner self, the person that you are when you are just alone. That is your moon sign. Mine is a Leo, and then you also have your rising sign, which is the energy that you put out to other people. My rising is actually Aquarius, which is what we're getting into now. And Aquarius is most known for being like the humanitarian. They're also known for being intellectual, really smart, as well as independent, and also analytical. So the two board games that I am recommending for the Aquarius out there is one, Hadrian's Wall. And I will say right now, throughout this video, I'm not really going to explain the games too much. If you guys don't know what the game is, I definitely recommend going and looking it up on Board Game Geek to see what kind of game it is, but I will kind of give like a quick little brief overview of each game, but I'm not going to go into detail, and I also won't have any B-roll throughout this video. So yes, the first recommendation is Hadrian's Wall. It is a fantastic crunchy roll and write where you are protecting your village, you have your wall, you have your village. It is 2 sheets that literally look like a spreadsheet, and I feel like the Aquarius being very analytical and independent, it's a great solo game, so this is one that I definitely think Aquariuses would enjoy. And then the second game is It's a Wonderful World, which this is a fantastic engine builder, resource production type of game. I just recently started playing this one and I am absolutely obsessed with this game. You can play it solo, so being Aquarius and being independent, you can play that on your own, and it's really this like awesome engine builder where you are building cards and putting resources on those cards in order to put them into your resource production pool to make you even more resources, to make even more cards. It is just such a fantastic puzzle, and I feel like Aquarius would really enjoy that. So those are my 2 recommendations for the Aquarius out there. And then the second zodiac sign that we are getting into is Pisces. Pisces are generally known as really emotional, deeply emotional. They also love like supporting a team support. And then they are also very dreamy and imaginative as well as romantic. So the 2 games that I thought for Pisces that would be good, one is Tranquility. This is actually a co-op game. You can play it solo as well, but this game is so comforting to me and so dreamy, and like I said, you are working as a team and you're trying to build out this board that goes in ascending order. And the fun thing about this is that you can't actually talk. So it's just this very tranquil, obviously the game's called Tranquility, very tranquil experience where you're just laying down these cards, and it is very, very fun. So I definitely recommend Tranquility. It is also like a really small box, so it's great for travel. And then also the second one is going to be Rome. Rome is from Red Raven Games, and this one again is very dreamy to me. It is a very light-hearted game where you have your little characters in front of you. Each of them have different shapes, like Tetris shapes, where you can place those onto a board. You're making those Tetris shapes with little like markers that you're putting onto a center board that's made out of cards, and you are fighting for area majority on those cards. It is an area majority game where I feel like it's not too stressful. You're kind of putting down these little cubes in these shapes, and then if you have area majority on one of those cards, you take that card, and that then becomes another person in your little tableau in front of you that you can use to place more shapes onto the board. And I just love the art of this game. I love the vibes. It's very much like a Sunday morning, just after breakfast kind of game, and it just makes me very, very happy. I also just thought of another one, which is Fog of Love. Just thinking of like romantic games. I would love to hear any other like romantic games that you guys can think of, but the only romantic game that I can think of is Fog of Love. Going to be honest, Francis and I don't love this game, but it is definitely like a romantic themed game where you are pretending to be 2 characters going on a date or in a relationship, and you are deciding different things to happen during your relationship. It's kind of like a not like a point and click, but it's like a determine your own kind of adventure, and you have your own like different objectives that you're trying to get to as like an individual character and also as a couple, and it's a very interesting game. But yeah, that was another one that I thought of. So those were the 2 or 3 games that I recommend for Pisces out there. Moving into the third zodiac sign, this is Aries. Aries is actually both of my parents' sign, and I actually don't really see a lot of these things in my parents. I don't know if it's just because they're my parents, but basically Aries are known for being the brave risk taker. So these are people that are very fiery and passionate and also tend to be very high energy. So the 2 games that I decided for this one is one, Gloomhaven. I feel like for some reason, brave risk taker, I don't know, it made me think of Gloomhaven and just being very passionate. A lot of people are very passionate about Gloomhaven and now Frosthaven, and just that whole domain of games, I guess. People are very passionate and fiery about them, so I decided to say Gloomhaven for this one. And then also the second one is going to be Wonderland's War, which I have actually not played this game, but I've heard a lot of good things about this one. I've heard that obviously you have to be a risk taker when it comes to pulling things out of your bag. It is a bag builder. There's a little bit of like chance and stuff there and pushing your luck there. So definitely brave risk taker kind of goes along those lines. And then also just being high energy and just fun around the table with a bunch of people playing this game and kind of dueling against each other in the area majority battle kind of part of the game as well. Again, I have not played Wonderland's War. I do want to, but that's another one that I thought of for Aries. So those are the two games that I recommend for any Aries out there. Moving into the fourth zodiac sign, that is Taurus. They are known as the just chill, earthy sign. They tend to be very relaxed, but also hardworking and very gentle people. So the two games that I thought of for Taurus, one, Creature Comforts. I feel like Creature Comforts to me is just very earthy. Obviously, Taurus is an earth sign, so whenever I think of earth signs, I just think of nature and animal games. So you guys will see with all of the earth signs, I did put like a naturey animal theme. So Creature Comforts is that. It's also a very gentle game where there's not a lot of things to stress you out in that game. If you do place a worker in Creature Comforts and you don't get to use that worker because you don't have the specific dice numbers, you do get a lessons learned token, so you get something positive out of something that didn't quite work out. So it's a very gentle game. It's very relaxing. I absolutely love Creature Comforts, and it is very, you have to be hardworking in that game. You are putting out your workers and they are getting resources in order to build up this cozy little den for your family. So those critters are hardworking there, and that is my first recommendation for Taurus. You guys can see that I kind of went on a stretch with some of these, but it was very fun trying to think of different games for these categories. So that was number one for Taurus. And then the second recommendation is Railroad Inc. So any of the Railroad Inc. games, this is a fantastic roll and write where you are building railroads and highways, and it is just the most chill game to me. I don't know what it is about this game, but I love it so much and I cannot stop playing it. It is so therapeutic, just building those little railroads and the highways and connecting all of the exits. It's just so satisfying and therapeutic to me. So that is one that I thought was very gentle, very relaxing, and also, you know, you're building out those railroads and highways and you're working hard for that. So that was my second recommendation for Taurus. Moving into the fifth zodiac sign, this is Gemini. So Geminis are known for being social butterflies. They love chatting to people. They are very curious and playful and intelligent. They are very intelligent, and they are known as like the twins. So I did want to put a two-player game in, and a very playful two-player game, back and forth kind of game, and that is Kabuto Sumo. This is a dexterity game where you are going back and forth. Technically, actually, this is not a two-player game. It can be played up to 4 players, but you are on 2 teams. So you're still kind of like 1 versus 1 kind of thing, even if you're doing 2 versus 2, if that makes sense. You're on 2 teams, but this is a very back and forth game. You're pushing those little tiles onto the board in order to put or push things off of the board, trying to push your opponents off of the board. It is a very like playful, up off of your chairs kind of game where everyone's moving around the table and trying to find the best place to like push your little token onto the board to push everything off. It's very, very fun. So that is my first recommendation for Geminis. And then the second one, this is kind of more towards like the social curiosity kind of side of Gemini, and that is Decorum. Decorum is a very social game. If everyone really gets into the game, it can be so much fun. Basically in this game, you are a bunch of people that have moved into a house and you're trying to decide where to put different things in your house in order for you all to be happy. You all have your own secret objectives. It's a little bit of like a deduction game and trying to figure out what everyone's objectives are so that you can all be happy in your house. On your turn, you're like moving the different things. There's different colors of different furniture and decorations for each room, and you can paint each room different colors, and you're just trying to make everybody happy. And it is very fun, again, with like that curiosity of trying to figure out what everyone's secret objectives are, and also the like social aspect of that where you are just talking the entire time with everybody. So those are my 2 recommendations for Gemini. Moving on to the next zodiac sign, that is Cancer. Cancer are known as very caring protectors. My brother is actually a Cancer, and I can see a lot of this. They love caring for their loved ones, friends, family. They love cooking apparently as well. They're very nurturing, as well as they are very creative, and they like more intimate situations with smaller groups. So the 2 recommendations that I have for Cancer are 1, Canvas. This is definitely more catered towards the like creative kind of part of Cancer, as well as having like a smaller group, and also not too like social. Cancers are not really like social people. So I feel like Canvas is a good one where you're all working on your own thing. It's a very chill, relaxed game, very creative because you're putting together these paintings and trying to figure out the different combinations of the icons at the bottom of the cards. Such a fantastic game. I love Canvas so much. I need to play it again because I always forget that we have it because it's hanging on our wall, but it is such a beautiful game, and I definitely recommend it for any Cancers out there. And then the second game is actually a game that is not even out yet, but when I heard all of the different things about Cancer, this was the one game that I just kept on going back to, and I was like, I can't mention that game. It's not even out yet. I don't even know how it plays, but it just reminds me of a Cancer so much, and that is Wild Gardens. Wild Gardens is a game coming out by Rose Gauntlet Entertainment, and it is, I believe, going to crowdfunding pretty soon, and it is such like a Cancer game. It's adorable. It's a very nurturing game and a very loving game, and it has cooking in it as well because Cancers love cooking. Wild Gardens is a game where you are making friends and you're going out foraging for ingredients and then cooking your friends' food, I believe, and you're like doing different recipes, and I just think it is the cutest game and a very, very Cancer game to me. So that is the 6th zodiac. That is my recommendations for Cancer. And the next zodiac sign is Leo. Leos are known as being the brave lions, I guess. They love luxury. That's like the one thing I kept on seeing is they love luxuries. So you guys know these 2 games are going to be like luxurious games, really nice production games, but they are also very confident and they love drama and they're very ambitious. So the 2 games that I thought of were 1, Obsession. Obsession is a fantastic production of a game. It's very dramatic. In Obsession, you're pretty much a family in like the Pride and Prejudice kind of Bridgerton days, if you guys have seen that on Netflix, and you're trying to get your prestige up, and you're holding different events in your estate and upgrading the rooms in your estate and all of these different things, hiring servants to wait on those guests and having different like more prestigious guests come to your events, and it's very fun, very luxurious, very dramatic, and that's really the only game that I could think of within that category. And then the second game that I thought of is very different theme, but for luxury, this is like a big luxurious production game that I personally want very much. I don't have it in my collection, but I want it, and that is Dwellings of Eldervale. This one kind of goes with the whole like luxurious production, but also being very ambitious, trying to do so many things. I haven't really heard a ton about like the gameplay in Dwellings of Eldervale, but I have played Andromeda's Edge, and there's like just so many different paths that you can go on in that, and I know that Dwellings is pretty similar to that, so being very ambitious and trying to go after a bunch of things, I feel like that is what Leos would enjoy. So yes, those are my 2 recommendations for Leos. So moving into the next zodiac sign, that is Virgo. Virgo is again an earth sign, so you guys will see 2 like nature-y animal themed games here, but Virgos are very well known as being perfectionists. They are overthinkers. They also love like logical puzzles and stuff like that. They're very logical, as well as hardworking. So I thought of 2 games for this category, one being Genotype. I love this game. I've only played it solo once, but I want to play it more. Genotype is a like dice rolling drafting game. You're trying to get leaves onto different, it's hard to explain this one, but you're trying to get these leaves onto different genetics of pea plants, and your pea plants are scoring you points. There are some assistants and some tools and stuff that can help you, and the dice are actually, you can like mitigate the dice in order to get the certain genetics that you need. It is a very, very fun game. It's very, like, you have to work hard in this game. It is very thinky, so I feel like Virgos would really enjoy that. Also, it's like a nature-themed game with pea farming. And then the second game is going to be Cascadia. This is my just like game that I think of when I think of a logical puzzle nature game, literally Cascadia. I feel like Virgos would really enjoy this one. I feel like Virgos probably enjoy all of the Fallout games, the Calico, Cascadia, and Verdant series. I feel like those are perfect for Virgos. They're all logical puzzles. They're all nature themed, animals and nature. So I think this would be a perfect one for Virgos. But I also do want to mention that speaking of Cascadia, this is a good transition into our sponsor for today's video, and that is World Series of Board Gaming. A huge thank you to them for sponsoring today's video. If you guys do not know, World Series of Board Gaming is an event that went on last year for the first year in September and is going on again this year. It is an event where you can go and you can sign up to be part of these board game competitions. There are 16 different games that you can compete in, and what I've heard from last year is a lot of people were a little scared of it being a little bit too competitive, but from hearing from last year's event, everyone was so nice and so kind. There wasn't a lot of like competitive energy at the event. It ended up just being a fantastic, kind event with a bunch of people coming together to play board games. Like I said, you can compete in 16 different board games, Cascadia being one of them this year, which is really exciting. I love how they have just like a whole array of different weights of games. They have lighter games like Azul and Splendor, I believe, is still in it this year, as well as Cascadia. And there's also like Wingspan as well, which is really exciting. And then there's heavier games like Brass Birmingham, Terraforming Mars, Arc Nova is in there this year as well. So there's a ton of different games that you can compete in. If you end up winning one of those, you get a ring that is valued up to like $2,000, which is amazing. And then you can also win all the way up to Grand Champion, which wins you $25,000, which is crazy. So I will have a link down below that you guys can go check out the World Series of Board Gaming and see if it's something that you would want to join this year. I believe it is in September in Las Vegas, and you can get like different deals there with like a hotel and tickets for the event, but everything is down there. Also, if you do use my code, which is just the Board Game Garden, you can get a little bit off as well, as it does come back and help my channel as well, and maybe get me to the event as well, and hopefully I can meet some of you guys there. But yeah, huge thank you to World Series of Board Gaming again for sponsoring today's video, and let's get back to all of the zodiac signs, shall we? Moving into the next zodiac sign, that is Libra, which Francis is actually a Libra, and Libras are known as the indecisive sign. So I needed to make sure that I picked some games here that it's really hard to have AP or analysis paralysis, because I feel like Libras are pretty prone to having AP. So these are all going to be games. Libras love being social, they love aesthetically pleasing things, and also they are the sign with the scales, so they tend to like balance in a game, and I feel like these games are pretty balanced. I don't think I've heard any balancing issues on these games, but the first game is going to be Mind Management. This is a fantastic one against many or one against one deduction game where one person is hidden, and it's kind of like a hidden movement game where you, if you're the person that is hidden, is moving around the board and collecting these different icons, and everybody else is actually working together to try to find where you are on the board. And this is such a fun game. It's very social. If you are playing with other people, you're discussing amongst those people if you are one of the people trying to find the hidden person. So it's very social in that aspect. It's very aesthetically pleasing. I love the look of Mind Management. So cool. There's so many like little things in that game on the box and just like within the game that is just very cool to me. So, and again, I feel like with this game, there's like no really analysis paralysis. It pretty much keeps on going pretty quickly. And it is a fantastic game for Libras out there. So that is Mind Management. And then the second one is again another co-op, because I feel like Libras love being social, and that game is going to be Spirit Island. This again is another game that I feel like is very aesthetically pleasing. It is really nice to look at. Some people might say that like the little huts and the plastic like buildings and people are a little bit not aesthetically pleasing, but I think it's really pretty. And all of the different like asymmetric characters that you can be is just very pretty to me. So Spirit Island is definitely one that I feel like Libras would enjoy. You're working together trying to save the island. You're all different spirits. It is absolutely beautiful and very fun. Another game that I would love to get to the table again with Francis. But yeah, those are the two recommendations that I have for Libras. Moving into the next zodiac sign, that is Scorpio, which I'm sure you guys were thinking, oh, she's gonna pick some like badass games, but honestly, these two did not end up being very badass, and hopefully that ends up being okay with you Scorpios out there. But Scorpios are very well known for being tough-minded, as well as very loyal, intense, determined, as well as independent. So I did pick two games that can be played solo, because they like being independent. So the first game is going to be Stardew Valley, the board game. And the main reason why I picked this one is because Scorpios are very determined. And I feel like Stardew Valley, the board game, is a pretty challenging game, and you do have to be very determined in order to beat that game. So I chose that one, as well as just like being loyal. You're working together as a group. Stardew Valley, the board game, is a co-op game, so you're working together as a group. You have to be loyal. You have to figure out how to do things together. So that is that, as well as independent. You can play Stardew Valley as a solo game. So those were the reasons why I picked that one. I know, thinking about Scorpio, I think people have a preconceived idea of Scorpios and just like thinking they're very like mean and like intense and fiery, but really, I feel like Scorpios have a soft side, and I feel like Scorpios might like Stardew Valley, the board game. So that was my first one. And then the second one is going to be Dungeons, Dice, and Danger. So again, this one is a pretty difficult one. For the most part, I think it's a little bit more difficult as a solo game. But in Dungeons, Dice, and Danger, it is a roll and write where you're rolling dice, you're going through a dungeon trying to defeat monsters. It can get pretty intense at times, really trying to hope for those certain numbers to come up. It can also be played solo, like I said, so it goes well with Scorpios wanting to be independent. And it's just a very fun game. I don't really know, honestly, why I picked these for Scorpio, but hopefully Scorpios out there, did I do okay? Do you like these games? Do you think you would like them? Let me know, but those are my two recommendations for Scorpio. Moving into the next sign, that is my sign, Sagittarius, and we are pretty well known for being lovers of freedom, I guess. I guess that makes sense because I am like an entrepreneur and I don't really like being held down, you know, if that makes sense. But we're also well known as being leaders, which I don't agree with that. I am definitely not a leader, but also adventure and travel, being a little bit spontaneous, as well as loving self-improvement, which I can agree with that one. But the games that I thought of for Sagittarius were one, Lost Ruins of Arnak. I feel like this one, you are on an adventure, you're going traveling, you're going searching for these different things, and you're also going up a track, which I feel like that's kind of like self-improvement, you know, going up that track, improving on that track. It's kind of a little bit of a stretch, but I felt like Lost Ruins of Arnak was a pretty good one for Sagittarius. There's also the Expedition Leaders expansion, so I saw Leaders. So that makes sense. But that is the first one I recommend for Sagittarius. And the second one is either or of Above and Below or Near and Far. These two are very just like adventure games. You're going on an adventure. You have your little, either in Above and Below, you have your little tribe or your little group, and then at Near and Far, you just have your one explorer. You're going on an adventure. I feel like these are just very exploring adventure games. So that's why I put these in for Sagittarius, and it just happens that I love both of those games, so it makes sense. But yes, Sagittarius, those are my two recommendations for you. And the last zodiac sign that we have to talk about today are Capricorns. They are known as the overachievers. They're very hardworking, they're very invested and ambitious, and yeah, they're very known for just being perfectionists, overachieving, all of those things. So the two games that I thought of for Capricorns were one, Castles of Burgundy. I don't honestly know why I put the Castles of Burgundy. I feel like it's overall a game where you want to try to get as much done as possible, and I feel like Capricorns would enjoy that. Like I said, they're very invested in things, they're hardworking, they like having like goals to achieve, and I feel like Castles of Burgundy, you're just quickly going and you're doing your actions, trying to build up your duchy with all those different tiles. So I feel like Castles of Burgundy would be a good one for Capricorns. And also I did say Meadow as well. So Capricorn, again, I believe is an earth sign. I think it's the third and final earth sign here with Taurus and Virgo. So I wanted to put one of those in there, and I decided on Meadow for Capricorn. I feel like they would really enjoy trying to get different cards. Again, they're overachievers, trying to get as much done as possible. And I feel like Capricorns would enjoy that. Honestly, because Capricorns are very just like invested, hardworking, ambitious people, and they love overachieving or just, you know, going for goals and stuff. I feel like Capricorns overall are just board game people. They like all board games, you know? Let me know if you're a Capricorn and you agree with that, but I feel like, you know, Capricorns sound like the perfect people to play board games. Anyways, that is going to be everything for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed seeing my recommendations for all of the zodiac signs. Definitely, if you did, give this video a big thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you've yet to do so. We'd love to have you here in the Board Game Garden. Definitely go check out my Patreon if you guys want to support the Board Game Garden, as well as join the Discord if you want to hang out, talk about board games, play board games on VGA. We'd love to have you there. Also, comment down below, like I said, if these games that I said for your zodiac sign make sense. If they don't, let me know. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you so much. Remember, you are somebody's reason to smile, and I will see you guys in the next board game video. Bye, friends!